Proper management of environment and facilities enhances animal production performance and minimizes animal disease, death loss, and behavioral problems. Dairy cattle are bred for growth, production, and reproduction in a variety of environments to which they can readily adapt. To ensure animal health and comfort, the National Dairy Farm Program recommends an animal environment where practices are in place to minimize the impact of heat and cold stress due to temperature extremes. Tools include the use of sunshades, sprinklers, misting fans, dietary alterations, and windbreaks. Environmental temperature affects an animal's comfort, which in turn affects an animal's behavior, metabolism, and performance. They should have access to shelter even in moderate climatic regions. Airborne particles should be minimized as a way to reduce odors and dust. The relative airflow between animal and service areas in animal housing is an important consideration for reducing airborne transmission of disease agents or air impurities. Air quality affects the health and well-being of the animal and its caretakers. Ways to lower airborne dust concentrations are to increase the relative humidity, add fat or oil to concentrate feeds, and control animal activity and air velocity which, at high levels, stir up more dust particles and keep them suspended longer. Control of microbes in the air can also be achieved by segregating or isolating animals with highly contagious diseases. Adequate ventilation, be it natural or mechanical, helps to prevent respiratory and other diseases by removing heat, water vapor, air pollutants, and odors from an enclosed animal facility at the same time that it introduces fresh air. It's recommended that adequate lighting is in place to allow inspection of animals and to provide safe working conditions. Sufficient lighting helps workers see the animals and detect any problems. In facilities where animals are routinely observed or handled, such as for milking or estrus observation, lighting should be diffused evenly. An outdoor light attached to a corral or building where animals congregate provides sufficient illumination for safety purposes. It's best to avoid quick movements and alarming sounds while working around animals. Noise ordinarily experienced in agricultural facilities has little permanent effect on the production performance of dairy animals, but disturbances by visitors can reduce milk yield. Loud or alarming sounds can startle cows, causing erratic behavior. Stray voltage in the animal's environment may cause unusual behavior as well, including a reluctance to enter an area or by a sudden drop in milk yield. Other signs are lapping at water, uneven milkout, and an increase in unresponsive clinical mastitis cases. When stray voltage problems are suspected, contact a veterinarian, a licensed farm electrician, the engineer for the local power supplier, an agricultural engineer, extension dairy specialist, milking equipment dealer, or milk plant field personnel. Dairy animals use a variety of resting, feeding, exercise, and handling and transportation facilities throughout their lives. To make all facilities safe and comfortable for the animals, there should be adequate space or floor area per cow, proper maintenance to remove any sharp or broken objects that may cause injuries, clean and dry bedding, if used, and non-slip flooring with minimal, if any, mud. Producers need to assure that each animal has enough room to stand, lie down, stretch her legs, eat, drink, and eliminate comfortably. When animals lie down, their hind legs should not extend into common traffic areas, curbs, or gutters. Dairy Farm recommends routine observation of facilities that includes monitoring and taking action for manure removal, moisture collection on the roof or walls, or frequent condensation on other metal surfaces. Certain parts of the buildings where animals refuse to rest or sleep. Slips and falls, including installing non-slip walkways or alleys. Cleaning all fans regularly. And facility sanitation and waste management programs that result in clean animals. When tie stalls or stanchion barns are used, animals should be turned out on a daily basis, except when prevented by severe weather. Animals should have room to stand and lie down, and have room to stretch, eat, drink, and eliminate comfortably. Manure should be removed on a routine basis. A general rule for stanchion and tie stall floor space is that the area should be at least as wide as twice the hip width of the animal, and as long as approximately 1.25 times stall width. For more information, refer to Chapter 7 of the Animal Care Manual. Where possible, producers should manage the animal's physical environment to allow animals in stanchions or stalls to view one another and animal care personnel. In a freestall environment, bedding should be refreshed and fresh bedding added on a routine basis. Bedding should be of sufficient quantity and changed often enough to prevent animal waste from creating wet, unsanitary conditions. Bedding material that is absorbent or well drained, free of toxic chemicals or residues, and of a type not readily eaten by the animals, minimizes injuries to the animal and to the caretaker. Any permanent stall surfaces, including rubber-filled mats, should be cushioned with dry bedding. Dry, clean bedding keeps animals dry and insulates the udder against cold temperatures and pathogens. Appropriate bedding materials and manure removal help prevent mastitis. Stalls should provide appropriate space to match the size and breed of the animal. Many producers provide one stall per animal, especially in hot weather conditions, or if the building has more than 4 rows of stalls, or if cows are milked twice a day. Adequate water space, feed space, and shelter should be provided for each animal housed. Features inside an enclosure, like enclosure shape, floor type, ceiling height, locations, and dimensions of feeders and waterers, should also be considered when determining an animal's space requirement. Stocking rates should allow for adequate time per animal for rest, exercise, and feed and water consumption. Adequate lunge space must be provided to aid animal movement, as well as air movement and cooling systems for animal comfort. On farms with open lots and pastures, management practices must be implemented promptly so animals can avoid standing in mud after rains. Mud represents a significant physical obstacle with animal health consequences. Producers who make an effort to keep cows out of mud will increase the animal's productivity and reduce the risk of infection to feet and udders. Also, animals must have access to shade during periods of heat stress, or windbreaks during periods of cold stress. Adequate flooring is critical in facilities to prevent animals from slipping, which can result in broken legs and crippling injuries. Skid-resistant working surfaces reduce injuries, increase mobility, are easy to clean, and must retain their non-slip characteristics after cleaning, scraping, or wear. When concrete flooring is used, it can be roughened by making grooves designed in a pattern to prevent slipping. The social environment of dairy animals is important because the cows operate within a herd structure and follow a leader. Handling several cows or calves together rather than individually will ease movement, lessen stress and anxiety, and require less restraint for medical treatment or artificial insemination. Producers can reduce aggression in an established herd by minimizing changes to its composition and by controlling the manner in which new animals are introduced to the herd. Properly designed and maintained facilities operated by trained personnel greatly facilitate efficient movement of animals. Fences and gates should be made of strong, smooth material and be devoid of sharp objects that can cut, puncture, or bruise an animal. Their height and ground clearance should prevent animals from trying to go over or under them. Fences should hold animals in designated areas. Gates should let an animal easily pass through. Install them to swing inward and outward so that the animals can easily enter or leave the pen. The latching mechanism on gates should be foolproof so that animals cannot open the gate.